At Ross, yes for less.
LA politicians lining their own pockets. 3 council members arrested by the FBI. The last thing we need is a special interest politician like Karen Bass as mayor. Where to begin? Bass was fined by the state ethics watchdog for taking an undisclosed gift from Big Oil. But that's not even the worst part. Bass took more than $10 million from sleazy special interests like payday lenders, big pharma, and big polluters. Karen Bass won't clean up LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you say
Yeah.
to 20 to 60% off department store prices,
Yeah.
you're saying
Yeah.
yes to savings for the whole family. At Ross, yes for less.
Every day, KTLA 5 reports to you to all of South.
Most of us are still in shock and very devastated, but we're coming together.
Right now at 5, new details into the timeline of a tragedy.
They don't make entry initially because of the gunfire they're receiving. We need to get everybody back.
Are your kids in there? They're scared to get shot. I'll go in with all of them.
Parents panicking in agony for an hour as the gunman held the school hostage.
Approximately an hour later, tactical teams arrive, shoot and kill the suspect.
You'll never get my baby again. Oh, forget them, please. Do something about it, I beg you.
All we can say, perhaps, is that our condolences are with the families grieving such a cruel and unexpected loss.
And these families don't want thoughts and prayers. They want something to change. They want results.
But will this horrific heartbreak finally trigger change? The News at 5 starts right now. This is the KTLA 5 News at 5. I'm Sandra Mitchell.
And I'm Samantha Cortese. Thank you for joining us this evening.
As you can imagine, we have a lot to talk about today. New details about the deadly Texas shooting that killed 19 children and 2 teachers. And there's some new information now bringing even more questions.
We are hearing now the rampage went on for over an hour. At issue, why did it take so long for police to storm the classroom and confront that gunman?
Our live team coverage of the investigation and the victims continues this afternoon. We're going to start off with KTLA's Pedro Rivera. He is live in Uvalde for us. Pedro.
Yeah, right now I'm standing in the downtown plaza. It's usually a vibrant place where people come, hang out in the park, have picnics. There's a lot of shopping centers here, but it's been turned into a memorial. I want to take a step out so you can see behind me here as the community is gathering. There are 21 crosses, each with the name of the 19 children and 2 educators who were killed here on Tuesday. A press conference was held earlier today to answer a lot of the questions that many have, and one of the biggest takeaways was that this school shooter was not confronted by a school resource officer. It was earlier reported that there was an officer who confronted that shooter before he entered the school, but that turns out not to be the case. That shooter entered through an unlocked door, and that's according to the Texas Department of Public Safety. We're also learning more details into the timeline on this deadly mass shooting. Just blocks from Robb Elementary School, the terror began with that 18-year-old shooting his grandmother in the face. And earlier today, we were able to catch up with a neighbor across the street who opened his door to see the wounded grandmother.
Well, I heard the bullets going, and I was standing right in front. And I saw him take off. He didn't know how to drive, so he couldn't even get it out of park. Somehow he got it and took off. The door was open. They don't ever leave the door open. And then the lady came out with blood all over her. My wife took her in and took her to the back because we could hear bullets flying back there. And we tried to shield her by taking her in the back of our house. And we called EMS and police. They were here. It didn't take very long. Took her away.
Have you ever seen any trouble at the house with him? Or
no, no problems. Well, he was a loner. He walked around there with a phone, and then mostly stayed inside.
And as you heard, he did say that that shooter was a loner. People I spoke to in the community said the same thing. They said they never seen him hanging around. That driver eventually, the shooter eventually took a vehicle, drove it into a ditch before making his way to the elementary school, even shooting at some witnesses from a nearby funeral home. We are told that the reason why police didn't go in was because they were being shot at. Take a listen.
Officers are there, the initial officers, they receive gunfire. They don't make entry initially because of the gunfire they're receiving. But we have officers calling for additional resources.
And additional resources did eventually come in the form of Border Patrol agents who were able to make their way inside and take down that shooter, but only after an hour. So it took an hour before they were able to get inside. And many, of course, they are happy that the shooter was taken down and more children weren't killed. But a lot of parents and a lot of community members are angry as to, again, why didn't they get in there sooner? The police did arrive to the school within 4 minutes.